this tutorial, I'm going to walk you through how to do breakdancer. This is one of my favorite moves, and you can also transition into a forearm Ayesha very easily from this one. It is a bit of a split grip style move. However, you are going to be using your forearm on the pole rather than your actual split grip like you would do in a butterfly or an Ayesha. I would say that breakdancer is derived from an Ayesha shape, and you'll begin to understand it a little bit more and see the resemblance as I show you how to do this skill. I do recommend that you are comfortable in your butterfly at least. If you have your Ayesha already, even better. So how you will get into this is from an outside leg hang. So I'm going to show you step by step how to approach this skill, and then we'll talk about it a little bit more like usual. So you can invert up, outside leg hang. From there, just like you would for a butterfly, inside hand is going to come down, but instead of coming into a split grip, you'll come into a forearm press. So I reach it pretty low down, elbow point straight down, and then I'm going to bring my other leg, so my free leg, and cross it behind the pole. So it's like my inner thighs are touching. Okay, now my forearm, I am becoming more and more vertical as I begin to take this shape. So this is even a great prep position as you come into this, but you can see here that my forearm is on a diagonal and really pushing into the pole. Before I show you the rest of the move, let's just talk about the forearm a little bit more in an upright position. So your forearm press is exactly as it would be as if you were to do a climb. This is actually the same shape that your arms will be in. You're just upside down. So make sure that when you place your forearm down onto the pole, you're not doing this with your forearm, and you are crossing it across the pole strongly enough so that when you really press into the pole, it's not sliding or rolling over the place, all over the place, because your forearm is a huge part of your grip when it comes to this pose, especially when you eventually unhook your hooked knee. Okay? Now, with that hooked knee part, let's talk about that a little bit more. So I had my outside leg on the pole, right? And then when I cross the other leg, you want this position to be happening. So this thigh, again, is really crossed over to the other side of the pole. You want to make sure it's not on the same side of the pole, because both legs, when you release them, will move over to the same side of the pole and point to the side, almost like they're making a K shape to the pole. Okay? So let's add on. Again, you will come up into your invert, outside leg hang, forearm grip. Outside leg hang, look down, place your forearm, bring yourself vertical as you cross the other leg behind the pole. From there, push with your forearm, pull with your top hand, release this knee down towards the side of your head, and now you're making a K to the pole. Okay, you can press this knee into the pole if you want, or try to free your legs completely. Then to come out, you can just reverse it back to your outside leg hang, and you can apprentice down or even invert down from there, okay? So in that transition, like I mentioned earlier, having your butterfly is important. Ayesha, also really, really helpful because it helps you understand the placement of your hips better. So as I cued while I was up there, when I placed my forearm down onto the pole, I not only reached my forearm down, but I also started to send my hips up and my head down more. So I was becoming very, very aligned and vertical to the pole. When you position your body like that, as you're reaching your forearm down, that also helps you put your forearm in a better placement. Because if you put it up too high, it's going to feel awkward. You're not going to get quite as much support. And so you do want to be able to reach it low enough, not necessarily like super, super low. You should be able to press your entire forearm on the pole. But when you get vertical, it does give your body a little bit more room to place the forearm in a better position. And then from there, like you saw, once my hips are stacked, your hooked knee, it releases towards the side of your head. So if you're looking up to the ceiling, that knee should come down towards your face. And from there, you would have been able to see that K shape to the pole. Let's do it one more time. So again, we're gonna go invert, outside leg hang. Look down, place the forearm, send your hips up. Make sure your forearm is pushing into the pole and it's crossed. Free leg crosses to the same side of the pole as your knee. You're pulling with the top hand, pushing with your forearm, looking up. This knee releases down towards the side of your head as you extend it, either using this leg for support on the pole or trying to take everything off. Rehooking and exiting from there. So that's how you do your break dancer. Once you're confident with that, you can play with transitioning into a forearm Ayesha as well, just like I mentioned before. But work on this, and then when you're ready, you can visit a new tutorial around how to transition from this into your forearm Ayesha.